Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Last but not least, Peter Bell.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is quite an event, and quite an event for Karen and for me. This is such an august setting. I was so moved by each of the speakers and the participants in the talent show, and the performers from the executive area. I wish that it had been a little closer quarters so that I could have come up and given each of you an abrazo. Let me, at the outset, thank a list of people who were particularly instrumental in putting together this event today. First and foremost, Ellen Mowens, who's absolutely fantastic. And she was ably assisted by Tanya Burns as well. So, and despite some of his indiscretions, I think we can thank Joe Irochi too. Especially since he didn't try to answer his last question. And again, I want to thank Dana Jameson and Trish Longmire, too, and everyone in the Passion Show. And Eric Foster as well for the guitar. And Gretchen Lyons was the lyricist. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the executive area singers. They're great. And Dominic Rollins and Anthony Sukai for their technical support. And Scott Thigpen on video. Where's Scott? And Shireen Jayawakrama, who is the video coordinator, among other roles. Jason Sangster for CD photo producer. And my notes here tell me that it was Christina Chan who was a gift selector. So thank you, Christina. There you are, multiple roles. Joy Shifro, who coordinated the memory book as well. So, and finally, our partners at the Sheraton Hotel, who provided the champagne, among other things, to support this event. So thanks to our partners at Sheraton. So anyway, this has been quite an event for me. A bittersweet event, to say the least. And I appreciate all of your being here to join in this celebration of our time together. I actually served for 7 years on the board of directors before joining the staff of CARE. Some of you may know the story of how I did become president. As I recall it, initially, I had been chairman of the board for 5 years, never dreaming that I would become president of CARE. The thought had not actually even occurred to me, and when Phil Johnston announced that he would be stepping down, I appointed a search committee. And some weeks after the search began, the chair of the committee, Lydia Marshall, came to me and asked whether the committee could consider me. And I said, I didn't really have to think. I said, absolutely not. And she said, why not? And I said, because I appointed all of you, and you can't turn around and then consider me. It would not be ethical. And so that was that. And the committee went back to its work. And they were supposed to include me as part of the committee in the last stages of the search. And as I said, several months went by, and I'd heard not a word, and I was becoming increasingly impatient, and I have to say, a little annoyed, and Joe could tell you what that really means. So, finally, Lydia got together with me again, and in the meantime, Karen and our daughter Emily and I had gone on a board visit to Peru, and we'd gone out to Cajamarca and just been tremendously impressed by the commitment and the effectiveness of our staff there. And I had the meeting with Lydia and expressed my annoyance, and she said, well, what we've been doing is building a wall between you and us. We've doubled the size of our search committee, and we're now serious. And I was freshly inspired by this trip to Peru and encouraged, as I found out that evening, by Karen and by Emily, our daughter, and by our son, who had just gone into the Peace Corps, to take on this responsibility if it were offered to me. And as I thought about it, I thought I just couldn't imagine a better opportunity to make a difference for good in the world. And I must say it's proved out beautifully from my perspective. This has been the most fulfilling period of my life. And I don't like to say of my professional life because it really, it never has seemed like a job to me. It's been wonderfully fulfilling. And now, I just about a year ago, actually it was in February, I announced that would be stepping down. And it's always been my intent, if everything went very well, to serve for up to 10 years. And this is kind of one of my own sort of rules of thumb. I feel that, you know, in a, again, quote, job, unquote, like this, you pour yourself into it for 10 years and you give it everything that you have, and then step aside and give someone else the opportunity. I feel as though I owe that to all of you and to this organization. I think it's the right thing to do. And that doesn't make it any easier to do, but I do think it's the right thing to do. And it has been tremendously rewarding for me. I feel as though some of the comments that were made by Joe and others do deserve a little response. Some have, one of the things I should say up front, because if you've been polite enough not to ask, you may wonder what I'm going to do next. And I think I should tell you, you know, that I participated in an executive session with our board last week in Washington, D.C. And I might just back up for a moment and say, too, many of you may not know that when I had my 50th birthday some years ago, my brothers and sisters put on a skit. And they entitled it The First 50 Years, The Frivolous Years. And I think you'd appreciate the fact that I envision the coming years as the years of technology. And I announced in executive session to the board last week that in my next life, I'm going to become a blogger. Yeah. And just if you want to see what I have to say, just it's bellow to end, that's bellow, B-E-L-L-O-W, to end global poverty, .net.